Why?
So, so I'm glad you're doing this because and I'm glad to still seeing you active. We're going to talk about the fact that you have a family.
Mhm.
You have like 10 kids.
Give or take.
When I talk to you on the phone, it sounds like 10. I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
it
No,
can. No, for
no, no,
sure.
no. This is coming from someone that doesn't have any kids. I have a cat, and that's like having 10 kids. Um, but yeah. So married, and job, but still acting, still doing it. How long have you been doing it? How long have you been doing this?
Well, so in LA, I moved to LA in December of '05. So it was
From
been 19 years.
where? Where'd you move from?
Seattle. So I grew up in outside of Spokane, Washington, and then I went to college at UW. And then when I graduated in June of '05, I wrote out my lease in the apartment I had and moved down here. And I've been in LA pursuing acting and chasing down the dream ever since.
Did you uh, chasing that demon? Did you meet your wife out here, or did you know her in Seattle?
No, I met her out here. We've known each other.
Ah,
Geez, that's
okay.
coming up on 10 years. I met her in 2015. And then we dated for a year, and
Wow.
then we were engaged for a year, and then we got married, and then we had a kid, and then we had
Yeah.
another kid,
And then
and
another.
then
Yeah.
just two. We got dogs before we got kids. We got one dog, and then another dog, and then a kid, and another kid.
And then, any more? Any more?
No, we're done. I
Any
got
more with it?
snipped. I got a vasectomy.
Oh my God!
Two and through. Two and through.
That's going to be a soundbite.
Yeah,
That's going to
no,
be a soundbite.
and
I'm just saying.
while we're tangential to it, like I think a lot of people get them. No one really talks about them, and reproductive rights and health and issues is such a potential mess. I think it's important
Yeah.
to. Whenever it comes up, I say I got one. Not
There
that
you
that's
go.
changing anything for anybody, but I think those conversations like help
What?
add to the understanding that everybody deserves reproductive rights. And when I got mine, it was kind of right in the middle of a lot of drama about what was going on with reproductive rights potentially in the country and in various states. And so like
Mm,
going to get it, I was a little not really nervous, but I was like, are they going to hound me about it? And they didn't, and it
no.
was so ridiculous that it was
No.
so easy for. They asked a couple times. They make sure that I knew what I was doing, and that while technically it might be reversible, I shouldn't go into it assuming that it could be reversible because it's not always the
Did they
case.
do that because you were so young?
No, and they didn't. They
Oh,
didn't really
okay.
hound me. That's just their general thing. Because right, they get in, they do it, and then someone changes their mind, and then they sue them, and so it's mostly just covering their own butts. Um, but so they were like, this is what it is. It's sure maybe you could get it reversed, but don't go into it assuming it's a reversible thing. Assume it's permanent. Do you want to do it? Think about all the consequences of that and where you are in your life. And I was like, yep, I'm good, thanks. And they're like, okay, great. And then they
And how
reached
long
down
were
my
you out for?
pants and cut my balls off.
How long were you out for?
Oh, you don't go out. You're awake. You're there doing it all.
You're awake when they do it?
Yeah.
No.
So this has turned into a whole different podcast now. Um, yeah. So they tell you to shave beforehand. Um, and so I didn't have the best things to like shave all the way. The nuts are hard to shave. I don't know if you've ever shaved nuts. It's a tricky,
Well,
delicate
we're not gonna get
thing.
it. We're not getting into that because my mom listens to this. Sorry, mom.
Hi. So I go in and they're like, okay, it was a male nurse, which I think I'm thankful for. Well, when it comes to the shaving, I was, because he very
Exactly.
gingerly,
I was just gonna say because he probably would know
yeah, no,
yeah,
he
the ins and
very
yeah.
gingerly shaved me more fully. And he said, he's like, you're lucky you got me, because the ladies, they don't care. They don't get it. They're going for it. They cut people open. We don't even need the scalpel when they're done shaving. And I was like, oh my God, I am so glad you're here. Um, and then so the doctor came in.
They're like the ladies are like rock paper
Yeah,
scissors. All right,
yeah,
who's doing it today?
yeah, right. Taking out all their aggression. Um, And the doctor came in, cut me open. There's the two vas deferens. He grabs one, snips it, cauterizes it. This guy, the guy I went to, he specializes in reversing them. So he knows how to get the job done right the first time. Like, there's no way that he was going to fail at properly. I know 3 different people that thought they got vasectomies, and now they all have another kid they thought they weren't going to have. Like, failed
Oh.
vasectomies are totally a thing.
So, okay. Yeah, we did go off on a
I
tangent,
know.
but this
Sorry.
is interesting.
You got me
No,
talking
this
about my
is interesting.
pecker, and there's no stopping it now.
So, when you're lying there, is it like a tickle? Like, what
Yeah,
does
so
it
they
feel
numb
like?
you. The worst pain is the
Oh,
numbing.
okay.
Um, a big
Okay.
long needle.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of needles. For me,
Yeah,
it
but
was
you
a
don't
big
see it.
long needle. Um, and so you're laying there. They numb you. That's the worst part. It feels like getting a shot in the arm, but it's in your ball sack. Um, and then yeah, you're awake the whole time. And then especially since he cauterized it, you smell like the burning tissue. Like, it's not a great experience, and you can feel like stuff getting tugged on, so you feel like kind of like when they numb you for a tooth, like you can feel them pulling on the
Yeah,
tooth.
yeah.
Same thing, like
Mm-hmm.
you're aware that stuff's getting tugged and yanked and moved around. um so the one side
This
went
is
super easy.
amazing.
The other side, he was fiddling around for like, I was about ready to ask him like, hey, okay, you're gonna have to pay me if you keep. And then he's like, sorry, this side's such a, the vas deferens was like wrapped around a vein weird or something. He's like, this is kind of common, whatever. I'm trying to, I don't want to cut the vein. And I was like, dear God, please don't. Take all the time you want, cut the right wire.
Yeah.
So eventually he got that, and then it was fine. And then recovery isn't that bad. You got to be real careful for a couple of days. Otherwise, everything can swell up to like the size of a grapefruit, which sounds terrifying. Just the
So I
possibility.
assume like your kids can't jump on you or
No,
anything like
no,
that,
no,
right?
no, no.
Yeah.
Everyone leave daddy alone. Um,
Yeah.
so you just lay on the couch, take it super easy for a couple days, and then
Did they give you anything like a souvenir?
no, God, I should have asked to keep a piece of it.
Hell yeah.
God damn
Hell
it.
yeah. When I got my gall bladder taken out, I
Hmm.
got a piece. I got the gallstone,
Oh,
and it's
nice.
still alive. Yeah, it's like a freaking rock. Yeah.
Is the gallbladder the green? It's a bright green color, or is that the pancreas?
I don't know. I'm not even gonna pretend to know. I got the gallstone, so that
Oh,
looks
the
like a
gall.
rock.
No, not the
I got the
actual.
gallstone.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. That
Yeah.
would be
But I
neat.
don't have a gallbladder. But I didn't get that.
Sure.
I'm sure that's biohazard crap. They can't
Yeah,
give you.
probably they can't just be handing that out willy nilly.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you, Randy. And
Yeah, so that's my PSA. Everyone, get a vasectomy. Talk about your vasectomies. The more we talk about reproductive rights that we enjoy and
yeah.
use, the more perhaps everybody won't have to fight so hard to have theirs.
But I'm gonna ask you a question, and this is hey, I'm learning. Can girls can get vasectomies too, can't they?
Well, so it's a different. The vas part of the sectomy is the vas deferens. So women can get their fallopian tubes tied. That's way more of an invasive thing. That they do put you under for. Um,
Ooh.
and it's way more invasive. Like they cut into you. It's a whole thing. Um,
Oh wow. Do they? I wonder. Do they still do that? Is that a?
yeah, no, yeah, that's an option. It's it's way, if you're partnered, it's way easier for the dude to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 15-minute thing. Even with him struggling on the one side for a while, it was. I think the entire time I was out of my car was 27 minutes. I parked,
Oh
walked
wow.
in,
Okay.
got everything done, got back to my car in 27 minutes.
You drove yourself home?
Yeah,
Holy
yeah.
moly!
I said I ain't no
That's someone.
wussy.
You're like walking like John
Yeah,
Wayne. Hey.
I do that anyway. Strolling down
Well, that is true. That's
Burbank
right.
Boulevard.
The king of Burbank over
Yeah,
here. Um. Okay. Well, that actually, I learned something. That was amazing. All right.
yeah.
And there's gonna be so many sound
You're
bites. Trust.
welcome.
Um. All right, let's get into it. So I do know the first one, and I asked this to everyone, unless you're into theater or Broadway. It's tapered to whoever I'm talking to. But what was the first movie you ever saw in the theater, and do you think it still holds up?
I'm sure I probably saw something when I was 3, 4, 5. The earliest movie I'm fairly confident I saw in the theater was Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and absolutely that still holds up.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, and absolutely, I remember it.
Absolutely, I remember it. No, so I'm pretty sure I saw that in theaters. Again, I'm sure my parents took me to something else before that. Maybe Rescuers Down Under.
Oh my goodness! With the albatross.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But probably Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And I just the other day was talking about how excited I am to show Elodie, my oldest daughter, that movie. But then I was also a little bummed because part of what made Who Framed Roger Rabbit so incredible was it was the first mainstream huge thing that showed live action interacting with cartoons. And it was all the cartoons. It was all the ones you know and love. And now that's just so commonplace. Like she's seen all 3 Sonic movies. Like there's not going to have the same impact of, oh my God, he's interacting with Daffy Duck. Oh my God, in the past year, 2024, what did I learn about myself? I think I've probably always known this about myself, but I got to really see it in action. And again, it's going to be about kids, but just how patient I can be.
Mm-hmm.
I can certainly not be patient. I can have a quick fuse. But if I get mad, it's like a quick explosion and then I'm over it and I've moved on. No one around me has moved on from my explosion, but I have.
We don't have to say the name, but you're in a very high profile. You work in a very high profile hotel.
Mm-hmm. In the restaurant, yeah.
And restaurant and very fancy people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a whole different.
It's a whole different thing. And by and large, everyone's great and wonderful, but there are absolutely some very difficult people that come in.
That's anywhere though.
That's anywhere, but
to work in a place like that, if anyone knows LA, and to work in a place like that, I think having kids just made you that that much
it
better.
Did. And when people come in, because it's a family restaurant still too, really. And so people come in with kids. It's made me way better at like dealing with tables with kids. I saw somewhere there's a statistic that I think 1 in 7 people just you aren't gonna like for whatever reason. 1 in 7 people aren't gonna get along. I don't know if that's true or where I even saw that, but it sounds good. And so, like, sure, yeah, there's people that are tough to work with, or that just rub you the wrong way, or you don't vibe, or whatever.
Was that the first fight scene? We're talking about Freebird now. So, was that the first fight scene you've ever done?
Not ever. The first one in a while, and probably, God, was that the first one for camera? I've done stage combat, and I've done a little bit of other stuff. That was certainly the first one in a while.
Because, the reactions were good. And just so y'all know, we sent Mr. Vinneau to boxing classes. To a boxing class. Yeah. Did you have one class?
I one. I just went to one.
You had one. Okay. And did you learn anything?
I learned how terrible my cardio is. Yeah, no, definitely what I did in that class, but more what I took away from and then kept working on my own. Like, by the time it came around to shoot the thing, I definitely felt a whole lot more. Like I realized, oh my God, a week and a half ago, I did not know how to throw a punch. And then I ended up feeling like I knew how to, like, my punches.
But you were playing an accountant, so you're not going to be like Rocky.
Yeah, but no, that was definitely beneficial for sure.
Okay, we're going to get to a very important question, which might be the most important question. Mm-hmm. Is how do you put your toilet paper? Is it over or is it under?
I come around the side. I'm left-handed, so I come around the side and get it from the back.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! How embarrassing! What a snafu! What a faux pas! Um, no, over the top for sure. I don't. Why would you drape it down the back? That seems insane to me.
Well, let me ask you a question. Another question that's not on your list, because this is what I find interesting, and still never wanted kids, but I'm going to use you as a guinea pig
Mm-hmm.
now, because they're 3 and 5. Those are the great ages. When have you seen it yet? Where, because especially like in acting, they always say like that you're using your inner child, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you get the childlike play. That's when you can pretend, and that's where you use your imagination. But when do you think we start? At what age conforming to societal's beliefs that that's wrong?
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't do that. No, you can't wear that. No, you can't stick your tongue out at that person. Have they? I mean, is that a parent thing? Do I don't know if I'm asking it right,
Yeah.
but
No,
I
I
just.
think you are. Yeah. So like the 5 year old, she's both kids are super great, and so far we're super lucky. They both like behave really well. They listen so well. They're just like the sweetest siblings I've ever seen. I was certainly not anywhere near as sweet of a sibling to my siblings as these two are to each other. Um, but so with Elodie being in school, like there's especially like I don't know if you know this about me. I like inappropriate humor. And
Mhm.
so like there's plenty of jokes and stupid stuff I do around the house that is kind of funny because dad's doing it, but not appropriate to do at school. So like we're constantly telling her like, okay, like sure, it's funny to all do a big fart and laugh about it, but like we don't do that in a store, we don't do that at school. If you fart, you say excuse me. Like it's not a big joke all the time.
Mhm.
Um, or yeah, name calling or stuff. They in Toy Story they love Toy Story 3, and that's the one where they end up going to the daycare and the teddy bears run in a prison camp. Um, and so at one point he says like, "Put me down, you idiot!" And Elodie loved saying that all the time. And it's like, yeah, okay, it's funny in the movie when he says it, and it's okay in the movie, and it's okay if you're like joking at home, but you don't say it. That's not a nice thing to say if you mean it to somebody. That's not how you ask to be put down. And you don't make that joke in the grocery store or at school or in public or whatever. So it's like now that she's 5, she kind of gets it, but needs lots of reminders. And then the
Mhm.
Vivian, the 2.5 year old, like it's just constant reminders with her. Like she doesn't really retain anything in that sort of a way. So like you can tell her in the moment, like, don't, that's not nice to do right now. And she'll usually
And
say
then
something
it's
like,
swirl.
she'll be like, okay, sorry, dad. Um, but later that day or 20 minutes later, she's going to be doing it again. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah,
I
it's
just find that interesting. I do, and but when she said school, I think that's when a lot of the conforming happens because it
sure.
is, yeah.
I mean,
So.
we're lucky Marissa doesn't work, so she gets to stay home with the kids and we don't have to put them in daycare or something. But so if
Mhm.
you are doing daycare or having babysitters before they get to school, I guess it's going to start even earlier then. So it's really dependent
Mhm.
on just when the kid.
Does she dress herself, or do you dress her?
Oh my God, I don't think I dressed myself till I was probably 17 years old. Uh,
And look at how you ended up.
yeah,
Look
yeah,
at
yeah,
how
yeah.
you ended
Right.
up.
I told you I may or may not have pants on. I do not. Um, I do. I'm wearing their pajamas, but
Oh, I was like,
I got yeah. See, here's my vasectomy scar.
hey,
Um,
show and tell, show and tell. That's amazing. And just so people that are watching, Randy is not in any sort of hospital room because it looks like he's got his own service going on right there.
yeah,
That looks like a
yeah,
gynecological
yeah. No, I got the
whatever thing
stirrups
going.
here, and yeah, let's do this.
I think it would be
Just what it
awesome
is.
if you do auditions with that behind you.
Yeah, maybe I will, just to show them I don't care anymore.
Exactly. Oh man, fuck self taping. That's all I gotta say. It is. I
Well, have
mean,
you seen all the drama about this with the casting director in Atlanta?
no, what?
She was doing an interview or something, and I don't know if she misspoke or meant to have it slip like this, but she she revealed that she watches 4 seconds of the tape she gets. And so everyone blew up like, are you kidding me? All the notes you give us, all the directions you give us, all the pages of shit you want us to do on 8 hours notice, you watch 4 seconds of a tape. And so there's been some blowback on that. And then I forget who, some producer chimed in and was basically like, yeah, because of self tapes, like casting, they've checked out. They're not doing their job as fully as they used to. They're not whittling it down. So now, as producers, we're watching 50 tapes instead of 5 or 7 or whatever, because the casting directors aren't weeding them out like they used to. No one's giving live feedback to anything to make adjustments to weed it out, because like, oh, they did a great job, but they couldn't take the adjustment, so boom, they're done.
Man, again, and I'm sorry to cut you off,
No.
but just fuck the self taping, because now you're the director, you're the fucking DP, you're the art
You're the
director,
grip.
your background,
You're
the
lighting, your cinematography, your
oh
everything,
my
your
god,
transpo, you're all of it. It's way too much, and it's
I'm
like
transpo.
you get at
I'm catering.
at 2 p.m, you'll find out they want it by 11 a.m. the next morning, and you're like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I mean, it should be like, and I told my agent this. She didn't care for it very much, but I'm like, it should be about the acting, not about what the fuck is behind me.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not busy, if it doesn't look like Randy's background, it should be fine. It should be fine. But she's like, well, no, they want you to buy this light, this ring light. They want you to have this background. I'm like, dude, I can't.
Yeah.
And maybe, I'm too stubborn. I'm just like, fuck it. It's not about the acting anymore.
Yeah.
What was this in Hollywood Reporter?
No,
Or
this was, I don't even know where I saw it all.
Oh, okay.
I think it was on Instagram where this interview was happening, this live stream, when the casting director in Atlanta said that. And then I think most of the discussion I ended up seeing was on Reddit.
Okay.
And then I forget where I
yeah.
saw where the director or the producer kind of chimed in with, like, yeah, casting needs to figure out, because just all this constant self-tape isn't doing anyone any favors. If you're out of town, send us a tape. If you're busy the 3 days we're doing it, send us a tape.
Do you have your whole
I have a whole setup.
thing?
I wish, see, if this office was cleaner, or I have a really nice shed. If the shed was organized, you think my office is a mess, I should take you out to the shed.
That sounds like a threat. That sounds like a threat, Randy. Don't threaten me.
I wish I had more of a permanent setup, because especially setting it up by myself, which is usually the case, like getting the screen up and setting up the thing and trying to raise it up 6 feet apart, 10 feet apart as one person, and then setting the lights up, like the whole setup and tear down takes way longer
than the fucking audition.
Than the audition does. And then, by the time you're done setting it up, you like need to stop and, okay, like that's done. I'm done being the grip. Let me try to figure out how to be the director and get the camera right. Okay, I'm done now. Now, do I have time to be the actor now and think about what I'm trying to do?
You're like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I forgot the role.
Yeah. No, for real. And then, having kids into it too, and dogs and everything. It's to get a quiet second in the house to pop off a take.
All right. So going to segue with that, what are you working on? Sell us some stuff. What's going on with Randy?
So there's a short that I've been getting text messages about this short this whole time, that somebody's writing. A couple of us, we all work together. We're going to be in it. There's 3 of us. I think there's 4 roles. I don't know who the 4th is going to be. But so that's exciting, something new, but something that's already in the can and ready to go. Geez, it was 2 years ago in October when I first recorded the voice for this. It's an animated feature. It's called Book of Joshua, Walls of Jericho. It's the first of 3. This tells the story of Joshua taking over from Moses and still trying to get the Israelites into the Promised Land. But it's got distribution. It's done. It's finished. There was a team of 70. At first it was 70. Then I think it grew to 120 animators in India that were working on all the animation. It looks fantastic. The score was done by this 22, 23-year-old that Tony, the director, he found on Facebook in Moldova. I keep thinking Monrovia, and I'm like, oh no, that's just down the road. No, she's in Moldova. Her score is incredible. Like, the people watch the movie and they like it, and it gets a ton of great feedback, and they're so excited about it. We've had a screening, and then so yeah, this whole thing's coming together, and it's should be available to rent or buy on like Prime and Apple TV and everything in time for Easter. And then there's a whole distribution plan. After a certain amount of time, it moves over to like Netflix and stuff, paid subscription things. And then after another certain amount of time, it moves over to free stuff like Tubi and Pluto or whatever. But so that's super exciting because this whole thing, I think Tony first started working on the script 3 years ago, almost, is in spring 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And then October 2 years ago is when we first recorded voiceover, and then we re-recorded voiceover. Honestly, I was in the booth 15 minutes. Like, recording my lines took no time at all. That's why I had to come back and do it again. No, so we did like a preliminary recording before any animation was done, and then by the time, and we did various takes and tries at everything, but then by the time the animation was done, it was like, okay, now that we know what this looks like and how this is coming together, let's match the voice acting to what's actually happening in the scene. So
I'm very proud, and like, again, like I said in the beginning, I'm doing this, so I don't know how often you tell people what you're doing, but I also want you to believe that you're good, because you are, and just to keep doing it. And it's hard to do because you got life going on.
Yeah.
And it's hard, and you're juggling, but if you're an artist, you're an artist, and that's what you do.
Right? No, for sure. It's like, sometimes people ask me, like, God, you've been in LA for so long. Like, how long? Like, when's enough? When do you decide, like, I'm living my life and I have my life and I'm just going to work on that and whatever? And the answer is like, never. It's never enough.
I'm going to say this, and then we're going to end this soon. But I mean, going to Strasbourg, half of those people that I went to Strasbourg with don't even act anymore. Because people, if you have a time limit where you think something's going to happen, then you weren't really in it.
Yeah.
To begin with, there's no time limit. There's no time limit.
Yeah. No, it is what it is, and I'm doing it. I'm pursuing it, and like you said, there's things that I'm doing. Are they as big as I want them to be? Do they pay as much as I want them to do? Like, no, I haven't reached the ultimate goal and there is no ultimate goal. You could be in the highest grossing movie ever, and it's not like, oh, I'm done now. He's in the highest grossing movie ever.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
There's a future in this. I believe in you so much that I keep calling you back for my stuff. And
it's shit. Now, let's be honest.
Well, hey, I like my shit.